We really had to take some few instructions here and there, and our friends from the media houses told us that they were also struggling to set up, because when you come in here and you are carrying cameras, they stop you. I'm not going to mention who is stopping you, but there are people who will stop you to just check if the gadgets you are carrying are fine. So the delay also can be explained to such, but we will make sure that we don't keep you here for the whole day. And as such, we want you to please make sure that the event becomes a success. As you can see, I do not have a smiling face myself, but I'll request that you must please wear your smile throughout the day. Make sure that we smile, make sure that we are happy, and make sure that the province continue to deliver what it is supposed to deliver, and make sure that we move out of here today and tomorrow having brought back the confidence that can help us to go back to our people and say, indeed, we are on the right track. Having said that, I then want to introduce to you the Director General, Re Mokhotle, to come forward and handle item number 2.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mvula, and a very good morning to all you, the guests, to this August occasion. We've been looking forward to this occasion over a long period of time with our colleagues from the National Skills Authority as well as DHET. But maybe before I start with the short opening of this occasion, just check in case the mayor for Mahikeng, Councillor Mpetlo, if he has not sent an MMC to represent him first, so that I don't take the political space. I belong to the administrative space. Just to check from the attendance whether somebody was not designated by the mayor to come or there is nobody. No, thank you very much. I'm saying on behalf of the provincial administration, all of you valued guests, ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to the Northwest Province, you're welcome to the city of Mahikeng. It's a very old city. I'm sure you know the Anglo-Boer War, the heart of it was fought in Mahikeng around 1899 and so forth. So it is a city that is very rich in terms of the history, whether in terms of politics or traditions. The leaders of some political parties come from this town. Enjoy yourself, you are all welcome. But let me extend a special word of welcome to our colleagues, the National Skills Authority, as well as DHET. They never gave up on us. At some point, we are one of the 3 provinces that were running behind in terms of having these formal structures for coordination. And I'm happy that the Premier last week in the Human Resource Development Council, chaired by the Deputy President, made an undertaking in that meeting to the Deputy President that the Northwest is on course. It will be resuscitating the Provincial Skills Development Fora in November. And here we are very early in November against expectation. And hereafter we'll be pursuing the resuscitation of the Provincial Human Resource Development Council. We appreciate your support, NSA as well as DHET, that you allowed us to lean on you, and you never gave up, even when we were faltering. Here we are today, we can walk, and we can proudly say, this is the day, this is the moment, the province is now on course to ensure that the skills development initiative of the province are aligned to the provincial growth and development strategy of the province, including the national development plan. With those few words, Program Director, thank you very much. This occasion is officially opened and everybody is welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you, DG. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for the half-hearted way you clapped hands. Let's please clap hands as if we want to clap hands, please. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. I'm very hopeful that we are going to enjoy our stay here today. Let me then continue to call Mr. Kuzwayo to the front. Yes. Let's welcome Mr. Kuzwayo, please. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, sir.
Program Director, Mr. Mvula, the MEC of Education, His Excellence, Her Excellence. Am I got it right? Yes, Pizzali, MEC Pizzali Kopan. I hope I've got that correctly. Economic Development. Oh yes, Economic Development. My apologies. Yeah. And the Chairperson of the National Skills Authority. I don't know if your technology is working, but mine, this side, is working. MEC, ladies and gentlemen here present, thank you for the opportunity to be addressing this August event. My purpose here is to provide the background of the PSDF. Those who are familiar with the Skills Development Act, there are two sections in the Act. One deals with, okay, I thought the technology is working, but, okay, can I have? All right, can I, for the sake of time, continue this side, if I may, Program Director? So, the section of the Skills Development Act, Section 5 establishes the National Skills Authority as an advisory body to the Minister of Higher Education and Training. And the Sections 5 of the Skills Development Act also provides the functions of the NSA, and the NSA together with the SETAs are responsible for facilitating the realization of the the objectives of the Skills Development Act. I'm hoping that you can start moving on, sir. Now, Section 23 of the Skills Development Act establishes the Provincial Skills Development Forum. Someone can navigate that one because it's not connected here. Now, the Skills Development Forum is a provincial translation of, next slide, is a provincial translation of the NSA. It is important that I share with you how is the NSA constituted, and by extension, the Provincial Skills Development Forum should therefore be tried to mirror that, not word for word, but to the extent. So the NSA is made up of an independent chairperson that is appointed by the minister, and it also has 5 representatives representing the state organizations, from government departments to state-owned entities to local government institutions. It also has in its composition organizations, that 5 people that represent business, and drawn from across the business community in the province. It also has people representing organized labor, When we mean labor, we talk your COSATU, your FEDUSA, your NACTU, I think there's a new federation that was established. I'm just SAFTU. Thank you very much. And then, in addition, you also have a representative from training providers, because you can't do skills development without those providers of training, providers of skills development, providers of education. And we're looking at both public and private. Moving along, we also have a representative from communities. Chairperson, MEC, DG, and the program director, allow me just to explain these community representatives. Community representatives are the people where we're from. Each one of us comes from a community. But let's break it down a bit. What do we mean? You have to have a person, a woman, who represent women organizations on the NSF, on the PSDF, my apologies. You have to have a person who is young, who represent youth within the community constituency. You have to have someone who represent a disabled person, who represent people with disabilities. And then you have to have someone who represent community-based organizations. Now, because we cannot be doing skills development about the people, but without them. Now, can I take a little bit step back? What do we mean by business? Business, sometimes there's a very thin line between people who are in business because they are training providers, they are in the business of providing training. And then there are those that are business that can help us to provide workplace exposure to our trainees. We have a program that we are encouraging called Work Integrated Learning, which is important in building confidence in the upcoming workers who are graduates. It's a program that is intended to bridge, the training with workplace, and it's a program that is intended to provide practical applications. Now, if you come in and say, I'm representing business, it shouldn't be a person that is aligning himself or herself with training opportunity for business and saying I'm representing business. It should be a person that has got the right nomination from business organizations that are represented in the province. So that is why when we say look for nominations for people to serve on the PSDF, it should at least target the Chamber of Business in the province, because it is at that point where the real business is. I'm not saying the emerging business people are not, but we would like to up the ante a bit so that the right corporates are involved in helping the province to achieve its goals. Now I'm going to move along. We also have entities that should be represented, what we call business, what we call employment services. They are usually referred to them as labor brokers sometimes, because these are the organizations that make it sometimes easier for people looking for employment to participate. We also have what we call ESDAs, Employment Skills Development Agencies. Those that are able to bridge a gap between a SETA, training provider, and employment place. Those you could look at. Then, of course, the SETAs. Now, we can move along. Now, these are just functions of the NSA, just to indicate what exactly the NSA does. So the NSA is responsible for providing advice to the minister on the national skills development policies and strategies. It is responsible for monitoring the SETA performance and governance. And why this is important? Because when a SETA comes to the province DG and it says, I'm implementing a program somewhere in Tosca. And by the way, I once was involved in this province for a little while. I went to some communities called, it's called somewhere around about Tosca and Tsidila Molomo. I've been to Lobati, Lihuruluti, and I've been up there close to know them. And I've been in these communities. Now, if they are saying they are implementing a project somewhere in Vryburg, and the province is not aware of it, and the president comes here and says, through the SETA system, the government has implemented such programs, and the province says, oh, really? Is that what you're doing? So we gotta have a way that says, if this is the provincial economic development strategy, and we want to do this and this and this, and so how do our people benefit out of it? If we have to bring a service provider to roll it out, if it's a construction of the road, if it's the expansion of the highway N4, now how do the communities that are located along that highway benefiting from this project, from all the areas of the occupational, organizing framework, Now, if we're going to import skills in the province because of the so-called, there's a shortage of skills, that is likely to antagonize the community. So we have to be intentional how we are planning the development of the skills in the province and hold those that are charged to roll out such skills accountable by having the right people in the province sitting on the PSDF to support and govern and monitor the rollout of these programs so that nobody benefits in our name without us knowing and benefiting. And this is why you need to have this PSDF. For those of you who are not aware, the skills development levy system, including the institutions that are within it, just to mention the NSF and the SETAs, on a yearly basis is worth 18 billion rand as a minimum. Now you tell the public that there's so much money that is invested in the skills development in the country, and the public still wonders, how do we get to participate? There's a gentleman who sits on the NSA, Mr. Mustaq Ali. He will tell you, if you are not on the table, you are not going to get a share of that pie that is on that table. That is that. So that is why we want this. So, I could go on about the functions of the NSA, but let's move to the next slide. So the NSA is a board that is appointed on for a 5-year period, and when it gets into office, it establishes or it adopts a medium-term strategy. And part of what the current NSA did, it adopted a strategy. In that strategy, it committed to develop capacity of skills development stakeholders. Now the skills development stakeholders, it's all of you here, and some of them that are here, including the SETAs. So the reason why we are here is to make sure that that happens. It doesn't become a lip service. You can move to the next slide. Now, the skills development governance, which is what the PSDF is about, our intention is to make sure that we hold each other to account. So the PSDF is that critical oversight structure which brings together the voices of important stakeholders. It is a coordinating platform providing a vital link between government, business, education and skills development providers, the communities, the SETAs, amongst others. This is a coordination platform which is meant to ensure that alignment between the skills development programs and the related initiatives and government and private sector economic development plans, they all talk to each other. It seeks to ensure that there's a corresponding capacity at the level of provisioning, which is training, that the SETAs can provide the requisite skills development information and implementation advice, and that the information about the program cascades down to the communities who are ultimately the beneficiaries and potential workforce. I'm going to skip the next slide. So what happened was that at the National Skills Conference in 2021, we were directed as the NSA to support the PSDFs and to make sure that whatever that gets done at a national level cascades down to the province. And using the district development model framework, and it's part of the reason why we are here, to make sure that the policies that there's an interpretation and translation of the national policies to the people in the province, and that there is that understanding that we will hold each other to account. Our mandate that we were given was to assist the provinces to reconstitute the PSDF, to ensure improved functioning and equitable representation, as well as active participation by all constituencies. So today, it's not the end. Today is just saying, let's explain what must happen. But what will be more important is the test that at least 4 times a year, this PSDF meets. So whoever is responsible for the DG's calendar, please make sure that at least 4 times a year, the PSDF meets. To assist the districts to establish skills development forum with constituency representation mirrored on the NSA and PSDF, support districts to develop skills development district skills master plans aligned to the provincial master plans, collaborate with the SETAs and other partners to support the implementation thereof, undertake a periodic district level monitoring and evaluation of the impact and the skills development interventions which are being made. So DG and MEC, from the NSA on behalf of the chair who is sitting next to you, from the NSA we commit to support the province with the functioning PSDF, but unfortunately we cannot chair it for you and we cannot attend it on your behalf. We will participate. So in the meantime, let me take this opportunity to introduce the members that are representing the province on the NSA that are deployed. Sitting on my left, he will stand, Menir Tommy Oliphant. He represents business. His job is to champion the interest of business and the province on the NSA. Sitting on my far right, that guy that looks like my colleague from the days of this building. There is Mr. Indlovu, and then he represents community and this province. There's also Mr. Maile there. He represents the interest of labor plus this province. So if there's anything that pertains to this province, if there's a small pie that the NSA needs to distribute and it has to benefit the provinces, those 3 will stand up and say, I want one for the Northwest. So whenever you've got meetings of the PSDF, these will be deployed to attend for the period while they are serving on the NSA, and if their term ends, we will then appoint others to represent you. On that note, I need to indicate that there is a gazette that came out, and we might likely be issuing another one calling for nominations of constituencies to serve on the NSA itself, not the PSDF this time. So the province needs to look out for that. And if you feel strongly that there has to be a representation on the NSA, it is up to you to make sure that such is made possible. And I move along to the next slide. This slide here, it's an attempt to depict how the PSDF should look like and where is it located in the structure of things. MEC, you would have heard that we spoke about HRDC. HRDC, it's at your level and the premier. The HRDC's mandate is to unblock. Nothing more, to unblock. If there are challenges that require political, traditional leadership intervention, community intervention, because SITA X is implementing a project somewhere and someone has come. Who remembers the old Bloemfontein Celtics club? There's a guy there who used to own the club. He was unhappy about what was going on. He went into the field to remove the goalpost. It was what? Ndate Molemela. Yeah. So those things are common these days. So HRDC is not necessarily legislated, but it's a very important collaborating platform. Influence. The PSDF is legislated, it's got the law to it. So, therefore, the PSDF sits there and reports to the NSA. The PSDF is also a substructure of the provincial HRDC. So when the HRDC is sitting, wanting to know what is happening regarding the skills development in the province, the chairperson of the PSDF sits and stands up and says, this is what is happening. When the HRDC wants to talk about what is happening about early childhood development, another department will deal with that. You know, our focus is on the post-school education and training, the PSET system, about the skills. It's about getting things done. Now, there is sometimes a confusion how many people should sit on the PSDF. We do not encourage having this entire hall as members of the PSDF. As I started with my slides, that was intentional to say currently on the NSA we only have 31 people at most. Because if you have the entire province sitting on the PSDF, you then begin to have issues about the quorum and this and this. So how do you make sure that there is representation of the interest of other stakeholders? By at least constituting those sub-forum. The sitters, they will organize themselves and nominate 1 or 2 or 3 people to represent the sitter voice on the PSDF. The training providers will organize themselves. Luckily, you are not like KZN and the Western Cape and Gauteng that has got number of TVET colleges. Here you only have 3. So you will use your discretion there. Similarly, you've got municipalities. They will use the discretion. You also have a new structure that was born this year, which is called Provincial Apprenticeship and Artisan Development Forum. And again, you'll see how they fit in there. Now, all of this, we are not doing it because we want to sit around the table and eat muffins and sing kumbaya. We do this because it must result to some tangible, products. One of those tangible products is the Provincial Master Skills Plan. You would recall during the HRD Council meeting that took place on the 5th of November, the HRD Council adopted a national Master Skills Plan. Now, the work of government is done in provinces. So how do we then translate that national Master Skills Plan? It must be translated to the Provincial Master Skills Plan. Now, this is where then again my commitment from the NSA, that if we do this right, the NSA is willing to allocate resources to the province to make sure that the province is able to produce a contextual, practical, provincial master skills plan that will say to us, this province wants to, optimize more in terms of its beneficiation. You are a mining province. We are an agricultural province. You know your main economic drivers. So, because you know your main economic drivers, so what are the skills that are attached in those areas? So we are willing to appoint an external service provider for you. If you've got one in the province, we encourage that they participate, and then they will do this research for you and produce that document. And thereafter, we know that no SETA will say, I am implementing this program in Lijuali Botswana. Is that correct? Bujanala, sorry, thank you. In Bujanala, and that does not respond to that provincial master skills plan. Now that takes me to the last slide. Now, we have this document, say, it's a methodology, that was developed with the partnership with the Departments of Higher Education's Planning Unit together with the University of Cape Town. It's a methodology that we use to identify or surface occupations in high demand in the province. So when we say to you, we will be developing this master skills plan, it would not be a thumbs up, it will be empirically supported by evidence on the ground. Now, using tested methodologies. So as part of what we do, to support the province is to help you produce that. But it's on condition that the PSDF functions. Because the skills development is not for just government departments. It's not just for business, but it is for the entire province with all the communities and the social partners that are represented in it. And that is what we have, MEC, DG, and ladies and gentlemen in the province. And this is the purpose why we are here. Sorry, it was a long answer, Program Director, but I had to say it. Thank you.
No, thank you so much, Mr. Kuzwayo. It was worth it, and we really appreciate it, sir. I'm sure that all of us now have an idea where we are coming from and where we are going to. Ladies and gentlemen, being a program director is not an easy thing. It's a very powerful job. Which is why I really want all of you to look at your programs and check if my name is written there. But the issue is, when you are program directing, again, you receive a lot of messages from many people who want to change the program, make amendments, and so on. I have received information from Mr. Mokhomotsi Khanzi. Maybe before then, MEC, let us all welcome the HODs from all the departments that are operational in the province. And I know that many HODs may not have been able to join us, but they sent representatives, and those representing HODs, please enjoy being HOD in this precinct and make sure that you live that life to the fullest. As I was seated there, I was impressed when you said that